Subscribe to Dave's Multiverse on YouTube.
It was supposed to say and Rumble today, but that's okay. Greetings, humans. This is Multiverse Live. We are currently live on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. It's 4 p.m. here, but in the multiverse where I'm at, but whatever node of the multiverse you're tuning in from, let us know in the chat, in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and it really helps the channel. Also, another way to support the multiverse is to purchase my new editor's book, Mr. Alexander Cheshkovich. Deja Vu: Has Everything Already Been in Search of a Previous Lost Civilization? This dude is a Polish prodigy who wrote his first book, this one, at the age 17, and he wasn't even allowed to publish it until he was 18 by law. It's an awesome book. He's making his rounds here in the U.S. podcast circuit. He's been helping me out a lot with editing. So go ahead and check it out. Link below. It supports him and the multiverse. And yeah, for those of you who haven't met her yet, I've got a new producer, Miss Nikkiana Jones herself, Megan Gibson. Thank you for joining us again today. How are you today?
Oh, sorry, I'm just lagging there a bit. I'm with you. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. And one of the reasons why I invited my friend Cody is because our featured guest, Nikkiana Jones, is her title is Exploring the Fringe, and Cody is one of the most fringe guys I know. So, Cody, thank you for joining us today, my man. How are you today, buddy?
I'm doing good. Good, bud. I'm glad to be on here. Pleasure to be with you, to see you, Nikki, and pleasure to meet you for the first time. So glad to be on. Thank you for having me today, Dave.
Excellent. It seems like we have a little bit of a lag on some of our ends, so let's just be mindful of that. All right, multiverse, let's get ready to crank up the heat, because today we're diving into the edges of reality. Joining us is the one and only Nikkiana Jones, the fearless truth seeker and host of Exploring the Fringe, where she fearlessly challenges the paradigm with mind-bending talks on consciousness, megaliths, high strangeness, ancient anomalies, UFOs, sacred geometry, and everything esoteric, and makes you question the whole damn simulation. Nikki, welcome to the multiverse. Thank you for joining us for the first time. How are you today?
Good. Thank you so much for having me, Dave. This is really cool. I love the whole get up. It looks awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're making some upgrades and whatnot. And one of the reasons why I'm excited to talk to you is because we cover very similar topics across space and time. And so we're going to get into some of that today. But Nikkiana and the multiverse have been orbiting for almost 2 years now without actually connecting. So finally, worlds are colliding. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. Yes.
Outstanding. First, I'm going to do a couple promos for our most recent episode featuring the man himself, Matt Bell, formerly of the Limitless podcast, but now it's officially the Matt Bell podcast. So I'm going to show a quick trailer for that. Go ahead and check out that episode on @Dave's Multiverse on YouTube. Let's do it. Here we go.
Building this robot, we're going to go up the Queen's Chamber North shaft. They found some difficulties as they began to start the Queen's Chamber North exploration project. They were attempting to go in October and start the project, get everything done, and then come back in December. And at that point, they were really going to have the thing completed in December, with the robot going all the way up, explore behind the blocking stone, and tell the world what's behind that blocking stone. I think there's definitely, I think that the possibility that humans were civilized and that they were doing stuff and building with big rocks at some point in the last 1 million years or whatever, I mean, it's I think it's not a certainty to me, but I think it's a very high probability. Matt's convinced that the civilization began 45 to 50,000 years ago, and that they were building the pyramids by about 38,000 years ago. And he sees that there's the two possibilities with the Sphinx and the alignment of the Sphinx.
The more we look into this stuff, and the more different minds from different backgrounds and different disciplines we put on this thing, and the more resources we put into it that are sort of outside of the strictness of the academic realm, the more we see these connections.
Over 1 million years. I mean, would we have any record of that if it did exist today? No, absolutely. You know, all that stuff would have been gone, washed away, wiped out. So after, nobody's ever shot themselves in the mouth with a shotgun after having more than a lethal dose of heroin within their system, like 8 times a lethal dose of heroin or something crazy like that. Nobody can pull a shotgun trigger that's as tall as they are and shoot themselves in the mouth after that happened.
So yeah, that was a super exciting episode in the multiverse because, well, Matt's on the verge of making kind of global news on 2 different fronts here. Okay, he's funding this Big Void project, which I think is one of the most exciting things happening in ancient history world, and he helped get a bunch of evidence pushed up to the Seattle PD to attempt to get the Kurt Cobain case reopened. And he talks about that in the episode as well. So super exciting to talk to him. What do you guys think's behind that big void, if you were to take a guess? Just wild guesses, anyone?
I don't know. I love that, like, somebody with, you know, like FU money is actually doing something. You know, that's what I love about Matt Bill. It's like he's just I mean, it's so weird because, like, some of these things, I'm like, all these mysteries, you would think if you had enough money you would just go do something, and he's like doing it. So that's awesome. I don't know. I think probably something pretty crazy.
Yeah. Cody, what's back there?
It is
Cody's on a delay. We'll wait for Cody. He's on a delay. What's back there, Cody? Oh, well, we'll find out. We'll find out later. Megan, what's behind there? What do you think? What would you guess?
I just get the vibe that it's like some sort of technology power plant. Like, I think we're going to find like more copper or something that creates a circuit or something like that, more than artifacts, as fun as that is. You know, I'm all into finding hidden chambers and pyramids. So
I'd love for it to be like a boatload of treasure or something like that, but I have a feeling it's some kind of structural thing, like a grand gallery related thing. Either way, as Nikki said, it's like, if I was Matt Bell, I would be doing that kind of shit all the time. Yeah. So thank you so much to Mr. Matt Bell for doing that. I just realized we're live on Nikkiana Jones channel as well. So that's the first time we've ever successfully paired Restream channels through Restream. So that's exciting too. We're live on Nikki's channel. We also, I got an episode dropping on Friday with archaeologist, martial artist, former FX supervisor for Disney, and my friend Michael Donnellan. And geez, Megan and I talked to him for like 4 hours and 20 minutes. I'm gonna have to cut it down to 3 hours and 30 minutes. But we talked about everything.
You have part 1 and a part 2.
Yes, exactly. Because people are gonna look at 4 hours and go, no thanks.
Well, Michael Donnellan could have talked all day if we let him.
Oh my gosh!
You know what? It was his wife, I think, that would have put an end to it.
Well, that's why eventually he had to leave. Yeah.
I'm coming.
Yeah. Nikki, did you see him did you meet him at Cosmic Summit?
Yeah, we were on a couple, like, he was on 2, like 1 or 2, like, it was a panel discussion with me too. So yeah, I got to talk to him. Yeah, really cool guy. Like, I like what he's doing in in Spain, like at Cadiz.
Yeah. I don't know if like that's like the epicenter of, or if that is the actual city of Atlantis or not. But it may be a piece of the global civilization that the ancient civilization that we're all looking for, right?
I mean, it definitely appears to be some ancient structures, so that's cool.
Yeah. What was interesting was they were having a storm, and earlier that day he had walked out onto the beach, and somebody had called him and told him, hey, there's like structures washing up right now. You got to go check it out. So he went down and checked it out. And then he most recently put his own video up about some literal structures just in the area that he works, new stuff that they're finding. So my only bone to pick, and I told him this, was that, like, Where's the documentary? We watched
I
the
know.
thing.
I thought he had a whole TV show.
He does. He's working on the 3rd season. We found out why what's the delay. It's in distribution phase. So they're trying to get the right distributor, and that takes time. But the 1st and 2nd season are basically filmed. Isn't that what he said, Megan?
Sorry, I was in the chat.
Yeah, I think he
No
did,
worries.
because even at the Cosmic Summit, I think the first 2 seasons were already done, and they were high quality. So that's, you know.
Yeah, very, very high quality. He puts a lot of effort. You know, as a visual FX specialist for Disney, he's very detailed with that kind of stuff. And so I'm really looking forward to it. When did he say, Megan, they're dropping that? I think he said maybe June. That's what I think.
I thought the story was he's just still waiting on whoever's going to be putting it out for that to be locked in before we know. Did he send you the 3 episodes? He said he was going to send you the first 3 episodes.
No, he did not. I'll have to message him back. He said, but we weren't allowed to show anyone, so we were getting sneak peeks of the first 3 episodes. But I'm about to show I'm about to show a short reel from our episode where he talks about that stuff washing up on recently. So we'll just check that out quick before we get into our discussion with Nikki. There he is. Can you guys hear this?
About 10 years ago, we were out coming back from a dive, and we saw something kind of weird on our sonar, on the boat's sonar. And it was a very strange feature because everything in that area, the seabed is flat. And suddenly you had these peaks, but very sort of geometric peaks, 7.5, 8 meter tall peaks. Mm-hmm. And they said we dove there a bunch of times. We even took some pictures, and it just always stood out to us. They said.
So that's just a short clip. Let me get rid of that. That's just a short reel from the episode. Didn't have a trailer ready for it yet, but we get into a lot of like the Cadiz and Atlantis stuff in Spain. He talks a lot about, you know, his martial arts career, his career in digital FX. We just talked about a lot of life stuff too, just stuff about life, and it was really, he's a captivating speaker. So please join us 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday for the live premiere. Really looking forward to it. And yeah, let's do this. So I asked you guys to what, Cody, can you hear us? Are you
yes.
in good time? All
yes.
Right, cool. Did you guys watch the episode of the most recent episode of Y-Files? I just figured I wanted to watch it and talk about it.
Within the minute it hit, I already had it on.
So that was a wild one. I had me a little scared there for a second. He gets me every time though, because he's such a good storyteller. Yeah. Where like I'm thinking, is this real? But then he like he kills it at the end. Yeah. What did you guys think of that one? What did you think of that one, Nikki?
Well, I mean, I'm also getting a little over the AI movie stories. It's
yes.
Like the hypotheticals. It was 47 minutes. It could have been 20 good minutes, you know. But anyway, like the fact, okay. I mean, it does make me go down the rabbit hole of, okay, so if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert here, but basically it's these government documents that supposedly came or were leaked this summer, not even this summer, like in December, like recently.
Yeah, pretty recently.
And it's about how they think that there's some gravitational waves from some black holes that collided that are going to hit our planet on August 12th, and we're going to lose gravity for 7 minutes. Or no, 7 seconds.
7 seconds.
7 seconds, yeah.
Yep.
And then that will, you know, and then the gravity is only going to come back like 58%. And then it's going to like cause basically, you know, like the ocean waves will come up and have tsunamis, and you're going to have like the air, half the atmosphere will be gone. So like certain, I don't know, it's a lot of speculation, but it is kind of interesting. And that it'll like, well, right after the 7 seconds, it goes back down, and like people will like fall to the ground and get hurt or die. And It's an interesting concept. I don't know.
It is an interesting concept, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think people just love like stories about, global civilization and destabilizing. You know what I mean? Right, Cody?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it always makes a great story that, the final moments, because everybody can think like, what would you do in those final moments, right?
Yeah.
That's something like everybody can empathize.
Hey, that'd be
with.
fun flying for 7 seconds, I guess.
Right. I mean, it'd be a hell of a ride, like on the way out. So I thought it was a trip, man. Because I've looked into like the magnetic pole reversal, right? Like our magnetic poles, they're moving like really fast, like out of position. And so at some point there will be a rebalancing of that. Either they'll go so far one way that they just like ping and like snap into place the way they were heading, or they'll ping back the direction they were previously. Like, you don't really know which way the wobble will go, but like it's gonna happen one way or the other. And when it happens, that's not good. So I have thought about like what do you do in that time when there's a wave wall, as big as the horizon. Like,
if you see a wave wall as big as the horizon,
you just go.
I'm just smoking. I'm sitting down. Yeah, I'm sitting down. I'm gonna inhale. I'm just gonna hold that shit while the wave just obliterates me. That's right. Yeah, I used to be a swimmer. I'll hold good form like one last time.
I'm just gonna stand on my deck and do the Titanic.
Well, yeah, that's a beautiful way to go, Dave. I support that. I want that.
Yeah, it was an excellent episode. Speaking of pole shifts, it's one of those things that gets like twisted around, and there's a lot of conspiracies and crazy stories about it and stuff like that. And when I watch guys like Ben Davidson and Stefan Burns, and they seem to really know a lot about it, but then they both kind of have differing opinions of what the effect would be. Teaser, Stefan Burns is going to be joining the multiverse again in a few weeks, so I'm going to ask him about that exactly. I also wanted, because the whole gravitational wave anomaly, like that, I feel like that could happen. Like, I don't know. And,
I don't know. I feel like even, isn't, well, I guess we don't really, and that's something that AJ went into, is that we don't know what gravity is, or like, we've measured it, like, but we don't really understand like what like constitutes it. And okay, look, here's the thing. If you take like a blue well out of the water, it will collapse on its own skeleton, right? So the thing is that our gravity is very dense and very heavy right now. And that means that if you were like a Bronchiosaurus or a Stegosaurus, like some of these dinosaurs that they found wouldn't have been able to lift their necks or their tails up because they were so colossal in today's gravity. So I do think that and like people are like, well, I thought like, oh, it could be different. Time could work differently, or atmosphere could have been different, but also like the density in which it is to effortlessly move would have had to have been different for them to have been that colossal, right? So I don't think our gravity is a stable thing. Like, it's not something that's in this forever, based on our fossil record. Even if you look at like there are ginkgo leaves that they've found that are like 8 feet tall. Right. And they're like anatomically identical to today's ginkgo leaves that are like this big, like they're like a silver, or like the size of a, whatever, like some shell or something. But they're not, and they don't have any structure. A ginkgo leaf is like basically it's like one of the first in fossil records, like where the pine needle like spread out like that, and it doesn't have threads like a normal leaf would. So there's not a lot of structure in terms of there's not a big skeletal frame for the leaf. So it would flop a lot, right? So if you had an 8-foot ginkgo leaf, we had different gravity. So, I don't know. That's something
it is something to think about. It is something to think about. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, possibly Ricardo. But even an event like whether it was a coronal mass ejection, a comet airburst, a comet impact, even an event that possibly could have caused younger Dryas climate change could potentially have changed our gravity just a little bit, even, you know, whenever that was 12,000 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that even just a small slight change in gravity could have affected, you know, humans and all life on Earth as well. And, you know, most of the large mammals died off during that time as well.
Yeah.
So, and this guy then, no, I remember who it was now, but he went deep with me talking about how, like, connecting it to biblical stories of before the flood, when people lived 800, 900 years old, and potentially the shift in gravity affected our physiology, limiting us to this 120-year thing that we're at. And I don't know, I'm just making shit up, but
Sounded
you know,
good to me, Dave.
the point is that, and Nikki nailed it. This is not a static planet. Shit changes, gravity
Never
changes. Yeah. And we really don't know that much about even gravity. Like, there's a whole bunch of problems with quantum gravity and unification theories, connecting gravity, you know, connecting gravity to quantum physics and astrophysics. It's like, you know, there's a lot of really smart people out there that don't even think gravity is a thing, that don't even think dark matter is a thing.
It's based on scale. Because, like, look at a spider or look at insects. They can walk upside down on things, or they can ride. Like, there's spiders that can ride gravitational waves, supposedly. Like, what is that? You know?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so think about here. I'm gonna put a fringe.
I like
theory
where this
out
is going already.
The scarab beetle. Okay, think about the mass of a scarab beetle and the flimsy ass little wings that it has.
Bumblebees.
Tell me, how does it get those flimsy little wings to lift its whole big body up at an alarmingly fast rate? Like, there is something else going on there. And my conspiracy is that's why the Egyptians worshipped them so much. There's something going on with the scarab beetle.
Kind of like the bumblebee. You know, it's like I've watched some of those videos where they do, like, microscopic views of the, like, you know, basically of certain bug wings, and they have like little cones and rods.
The honeycomb structure.
Yeah. And some of them actually have like really small little peaks, like almost look like little pyramids all over their wings. And they think that they have some sort of, they're vibrating different magnetics, like their wings are. So that's crazy.
So I can expand on that. They think that essentially the exoskeleton, the hard shell part, has like honeycomb structure, and then the wing part has those like little pyramid structures. So you get the, if we wanted to, you know, esoteric symbology, as above so below, like even the critters show it. You've got the female receiver and the male active that'll like then interplay with each other and create an anti-gravity field, which would explain why, you know, a bug that has a mass way larger than what its actual thrust force could get anywhere close to outputting to be able to lift it. Somehow it's able to, like the bumblebee. But I mean, the scarab beetle's even more extreme because they're huge, they're heavy.
They are huge,
yeah.
So something's going on there on a microscopic level. And every
species on the planet has different physiology and interfaces with the universe and creates reality the way they see it, right? And us humans, we have our own interface with the universe. But, like, for example, Shaman, shout out Shaman because he's in the chat right now. He said the other day, like, he's like, my cat sees better than I do. You know, my dog hears better than I do. Yep. So they're seeing, you know, the universe in a totally different way that I am. So how can I know that, like, what I see is everything, right? And so we're using scientific tools that enhance our own abilities to interface with the universe. And so maybe the key is looking through, like, the eyes of different species and looking through the reality of different species and trying to piece all this shit together, because I think us humans are only getting like less than 1% of what's really going on out there.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, like, perception's an interesting thing too, because it's like
eyes closed.
I think like I used to get freaked out by colorblind people because I'd be like, oh, what are you really seeing then?
Their reality is different than ours, literally. That's wild.
And then also we're taught from an early age, like I'm taught this is red, this is blue, this is green. And what if our wires are all messed up and like
it's a construct for either us or colorblind people. One of us is living a construct lie.
well, that concept used to freak me out too, because it is, and it used to freak me out too, because even colorblind people aside, like, how do I really know that, like, if every time the four of us look at the same object that we've known, let's call the ocean blue, right? That we've known, or the sky. The sky is blue, right? We all see it blue since the day we're born. We look up, we're told that's blue. But what if my blue was your red and Cody's purple and Megan's green, and we would never ever know, because that's why perception is a strange thing about being a human.
Well, they have some kind of tribe in the Amazon that doesn't have a word for the color green.
Yes,
and they think they don't perceive it, actually, because and then same thing with, like, I think Russians have something like, I don't know, it's crazy the amount of words they have for blue, but they have I think it's like 2,000 different words for variation colors of blue. Like we have like baby blue or cerulean or royal blue, or like we have like, oh, that's navy, that's this, but they have like basically 2,000 variations. So apparently that language, just being born Russian, allows you to see more of the spectrum of the color blue because they've defined it more. So that's kind of weird that then you start going like, okay, wait, what? And I thought the same thing about
colors are a cultural construct. Even.
Perception is an interesting thing, right? Because like
wild. I
had a tortoise that could be like 200 years old, right? And he moves slow as hell. Right. So I'm like, and then fruit flies die in 3 days, and they're like, ah. And so I always think, I'm like, okay, well, what if the way in which we age is like how we're just perceiving time?
Right.
I mean, that could be like, like our frame rate, because like our frame rate is like 24 frames per second. But like, what if a turtle's really seeing 8 frames per second, and fruit fly is seeing 3,000 frames per second, and like, there you go. You're like, your life force is spun out that quickly.
It's all the same though, from the individual's perception.
Yeah.
Right.
I
think
that's probably the case.
It definitely. I think it. Yes. Yes. I definitely think you're right. There was a Y-Files episode where he talks about how the color blue didn't exist until a certain time, and again, it's a Y-Files like pull the rug out, because it's not that. What they say supposedly is not that humans couldn't see blue, but look, I just grokked it.
Like I said, Vietnamese has no green either. What we see as green is just another shade of blue in Vietnam.
There you go. Yeah. And so trippy. In the Odyssey, in Homer's The Odyssey, they describe the sea as wine dark. And there's so many references from that time where there's no like description for the color blue until like a certain point. So
just showed up one day.
Yeah, I'm not going to get all the way into that, but I thought that was a very interesting episode of the Y-Files. But definitely a hoax for sure. That's what they said at the end, right, Nikki?
Yeah. Well, they were basically, like that paper's a hoax, but they did say that, he did kind of like, he softens the blow a little bit by saying like, oh, but, like they have been studying anti-gravity, and we're not allowed to know anything that they've been studying on anti-gravity because it's like a really good weapon and blah blah blah.
Right. Well, what's even weirder is Rhymes with Meffrey Kepstein. He was super into anti-gravity, and in fact held like a conference with all the biggest scientists in the world and talking about anti-gravity for some reason. So
and that Ghislaine Axwell.
I don't know, whatever. Ghislaine Axwell.
She was a submarine pilot, and she had her submarine
totally normal thing.
Planet Atlantis, and they were searching on the Bimini coast all the time in their submarine.
Weird. Yeah, the ocean's a weird place too, because like our own perception of the universe that we see, like we don't know. I don't know what the exact number is. Megan, if you could look it up for me quick. How much do we know about the ocean? I think it's less than 10% or something.
Oh, that's been math.
It's like
I don't know.
Not a lot. Yeah.
It's 75% of the planet, and we're kind of like
yeah.
Well, the amount of effort, the amount of money, the amount of manpower that has to go into searching one hyper-specific area on the ocean floor. It's a lot, right? So
yeah,
the ocean is always going to be a huge mystery because it's forces that humans just aren't compatible with.
See, I would have thought by, with all the military, like submarines, however long they've been doing, I would have thought they would have had more of it kind of mapped out.
Oh, they mapped the shit out of it 100.
They just didn't tell us.
yeah. They don't show us the maps. Yeah. But they know what's down there for sure.
Well, yeah. Nick in Nikkiana Jones's channel, she likes to get into topics like the UFOs, UAPs. Sometimes I wonder if maybe some of the UFOs and UAPs that we're seeing are from the ocean, and that's not, I don't think, out of the realm of. I think that's one of the more likely scenarios. I think it's more likely than interstellar travel and more likely than interdimensional. But I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not into UFOs being from space anymore. Because, like, look, I've had my channel for 7 years, and I've been researching this stuff for 20 plus years. And what's the commonality? They're here right now, here on Earth, right? So they're coming from somewhere here that we're perceiving. So that's why I'm kind of going like, why do we assume that they're from outer space? It's really, I'm way more into pocket dimensions, like breakaway civilizations, inner Earth, like ocean civilizations. Like, I think there's way more to explore here. And we really are very funneled into our highway systems and our little cars. And we don't have a whole bunch of this planet that we've just really gone off and explored so much. And when you do, like, weird stuff happens.
Yeah, I mean, recently they just found like an ocean. I'm gonna butcher this, but they found a giant ocean in the Earth. Yeah. And like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, and now that we know about
trying to tell us about inner Earth quietly.
Well, now that we know about extremophiles that can exist, like when I was in science class, and I literally remember the question on the test, like, what does life need to exist? And like oxygen and light were two big ones. Yeah. And now we know that that's not necessarily true in all cases. And so, like, I want to believe this shit. So my mind immediately goes to like, what the hell's down there, right? And
Absolutely.
like, what kind of stuff can we find down there? So, and that's a good segue into our guest today, Miss Nikkiana Jones. Initially first came across you at the Cosmic Summit 2025. Were you at 2024 as well?
I was just at 2025.
Okay, and how did you like Cosmic Summit 2025?
I think it was great.
Yeah, it's great for networking and meeting people that think about this stuff as well, and you get to meet people that you watch on YouTube or interact with online, so that's good. But you said you've been researching these topics for 20 years. Would you mind sharing with us what kind of pilled you into all this stuff, or how did that happen?
I'm from New Mexico, and I've had UFO experiences my whole life. And that's what got me into, okay, like what's really going on with all this, and then I in school I studied art history and geology, so I have like a minor in geology and then have a master's degree in art history, and I was really I did a bunch of archaeology classes and stuff like that, and I was interested in it, but then what just took down my framework completely was, I guess, about, I don't know. I think I was in my early 30s. I'm not sure which year it was. I could look it up on my phone, but I went, so basically like 12 years ago or something, I went to Peru on a yoga trip, actually. And, when we were doing yoga at Machu Picchu and all these places. And then on one of our off days, we went to me and just this one other girl went to Sexy Woman, and we were alone. You didn't have to pay to get in there at that time. Like, you could touch you could lick the rocks if you wanted to. Then there was nobody there. It wasn't like a public thing yet. I mean, people knew about it, but it wasn't fenced off. They didn't have it as a tourist attraction. And I started crying. I started crying like a 2-year-old, and I couldn't stop crying for like an hour, because I just understood the colossalness of the lie that we were getting. Like, when you see those, and like Machu Picchu, like the whole trip, I'd already been to like Pisac and like Monterey, and I'd been to, like Olive Tomble, and I'd been to like Machu Picchu, and I was already kind of going like, what's going on, right? But when I went to Sexy Woman, that's when it was just like, okay, I'm sorry, but llamas didn't build these 700 years ago with a civilization that was only 75 around for 75 years. Like, the Incas weren't like a great Egyptian dynasty that lasted for thousands of years. They were a couple of generations. And the thing is like, you're talking about blocks that are the size of, they weigh more than airplanes, and
silly.
Like they're silly. They're so crazy big, and they're so precisely put together and everything and when you're there in person, like, you can't be lied to at that point. And I don't understand why more people don't break down there. It's crazy. So that's like the first thing that started. And at that point, there wasn't much online about anything. So like, this was, I don't know, probably 2012. Like, there wasn't, I found a Graham Hancock book, but even that didn't satiate it enough for me. It just kind of like was like, okay, good. Some people are like Eric Van Donigan. Okay. Like, so people are recognizing that like these are weird anomalies that aren't going on, but it just wasn't, nothing has really come close to even I'm really disappointed that even mainstream doesn't even try to come up with a better explanation than they do. So yeah,
no, they're pretty lazy about it.
They're very lazy about it. It's weird.
Yeah, well, and what's funny to me is how nonchalant they are about a lot of that, because people are, with AI, with ubiquitous access to the internet, it's easy to actually question stuff. You don't have to go to a library and rent an encyclopedia and flop it down, sit there and flip through and cross correlate with some other obscure
use the Dewey decimal system. Dewey Decimal. Yeah.
Well, whatever the hell that was. Like, no, you don't have to do that. Any asshole can press the microphone button on their phone. Assholes like me, by the way, and just like, they don't even have to be literate. You can just type it, you can say it, and you can have access to actually seriously question these things, like the 25-year narrative.
Yeah, right.
stuff like that is honestly what's kind of causing the mass questioning, if you will. I'm not going to call it an awakening yet where things are concerned, but there is a mass questioning now happening. You're seeing it on Pierce Morgan. You're seeing mainstream easing into the subject of what the fuck was going on back then, because
it's weird because like I still run into people all the time. Like I have a brother who an older brother who I like when I got back from I went to Egypt like 6 or 7 years ago in 2019, and I was going like, oh my, I came back going like, like this doesn't make sense, and I started giving him statistics on how we wouldn't have been able, and he's just like, they've proven how they built the pyramids, Nikki. Like they just use slaves. Like what's the big deal? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, and I would show him pictures on how big they were and this and that. And like, I'm like, you would have to have like 200,000 slaves pulling this one stone. Like I was like,
tell me how a slave did this.
How are you gonna move it? This is, and he's just like, I don't really think this is a mystery at all. Like, I don't know why you're obsessed with this. This is weird. Like,
that's my wife.
Get over it.
That's her. She's like, it's rocks. I don't know.
my wife will humor me, but I think for some people, like how you described your reaction to Sacsayhuaman, right? If you really open your mind, like you obviously were on that trip, you had a very open mind in that moment, then you have to allow your entire construct to kind of crumble. And that's scary for a lot of people. And I think that a lot of people in their mind are unable to make that shift because it's too much. For me, it's always been exciting. Like, but for some people, it's like they like that. They like to know that they understand how the universe works, why we're here, that kind of thing. It's better to just know that stuff so they can go on with their life. And I get that. I can totally understand that. But for me, I'm like, whoa! It's so much fun,
The thing is it's like like I just got back from Japan in October, and it was like, I did Okinawa, and there's the most biggest percentage of star forts there, like per capita, or like there's like hundreds of star forts there. But cool. Old ancient star forts that like we could debate on how star forty they are or aren't. And then you have Ishinahoden, which is like some ginormous, like looks like a ginormous anvil in the middle of this like.
What?
Yeah, have you ever heard of Ishinahoden?
Is it a giant's anvil?
Right?
Let's sidebar real quick. What do you think?
Like it's one of the biggest megaliths I've ever seen in my entire life. And
is it an ancient giant forge?
Yeah. But let me see. How do you spell Ishinahoden? It's I-S-A.
I was going to look it up, but I had no idea.
I like giants, Dave. I'm sorry. I was going to pounce this.
I also like giants.
I wasn't moving past
I also went to Masuda Fute, which is rock ship, or which rock ship is like the English word for it, which is also like a what the F is that? Like those two megaliths in Japan are like no Japanese. They don't even try to explain them. They don't even know.
Are you able to find a quick picture and share? The screen.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
I was going to say the share button is directly in the middle on the bottom. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Let me see.
I was going to say, I think it's way better when they just say we don't know what it is, and they give it
angles. Like mystery. This looks like an angle. That's from the back of it, and then the side of it. Yeah. On the other side, it comes to a point, and then you can come on the top of it and look down on it, and it's angled into a little spring that's always going on the bottom there.
What?
Now that's like I don't know 8 or well, I bet you that's multiple stories tall. That's at least 3 stories tall. That thing is huge. I have it on my Twitter page, but I mean when you go to that, like I just haven't seen a single megalith as big as that before. And there's just no explanation for it, honestly. See if you can find it. That's like the worst angle of it. There's better.
I'm gonna remove that. Is Megan doing this? Good job, Megan.
Trying.
Is
You
it
got
so?
you got the job.
Yeah, that's why I say it kind of looks like an anvil, but that's how it is. Now I
Yo,
can
that
fully
does
stand
look
up
like an anvil.
underneath that part that is like peaked. I can come to a full. I'm 5'4", and I can come to a full stand underneath, and put my hands up and touch the slope. So
It looks like a big ass anvil. That's crazy.
It looks like a big ass anvil.
They don't claim that's natural, do they?
It's what?
They don't claim that's natural, right? They do.
No, they can't.
That's fully man-made.
Like they don't even try. It's a Buddhist shrine. They have, and like when you ask them like why it was built, there's some story about how one of the ancient like kings removed some of the rubble or to reveal it. I don't know. It's a very
fair play. Why not?
It's really weird though, and like when you go there, you're going like, okay, how the hell are you going to explain this? Like, explain this. Like, what is this?
Yeah,
is it bigger than the? Is it bigger than the stone of the pregnant woman in Turkey?
Oh,
well, it's not as long, I wouldn't say, but I mean, if we put it on a scale, maybe.
If that's a couple stories tall, that would be.
Oh yeah, it's a couple stories tall.
That would be bigger then, right?
Like the building behind it is a 3-story building. So
that's wild.
Yeah, it's really wild. And then if you look up, see if you can look up Rock Ship Japan.
Yeah, I know that one.
Like that one is also, like, I mean, that's, I don't even know. My husband was able to get on top of it. We like hoisted him up and he was able to get on top. Like we could not climb on it. It was too difficult to get on. It was like slippery and weird, awkward angle. And it's in the middle of the forest. There's nothing around it. And it's awesome. It's in a bamboo forest and it doesn't make any sense.
That's so cool.
And they don't even try. Like the Japanese don't even try to explain it.
Good for them.
Like, this is here. And there's a lot of stuff around that area near it.
Let there be mysteries in the world. I love it.
What I find interesting, well, it's interesting to me that like here in the West, we hyper focus on Egypt, Peru, megaliths in Europe, as well as Mexico, all that stuff. But like Asia, India, like Japan, India, like the Longyu caves in China, the pyramids in China. There's like, I don't know, a couple hundred. I can't remember.
Hey, those aren't pyramids. They're mountains.
Because like in 2018, I went to India and I just went to like this reforestation project where I was trying to I went to this like real hippie place or whatever it was called.
I think that's cool.
Okay, so yeah, this is Rock Ship in Japan.
Yes,
I've seen this.
This is so like I'm like you think like, oh, you could just like crawl up that little thing. That thing is so slick and steep. It's a slide. You can't crawl up it. Like your shoes don't even work on it. It's like solid polished granite. And then and then when you go underneath, like I'm telling you, this thing is 3 stories tall. It's crazy. And then the further block on the top is filled with water, and then the other one's empty. And
do you think it was a vault, maybe?
A vault?
Yeah, storage.
I don't know because, I don't really know if there was like. There's no lid or anything around it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
So they don't even try to explain this?
They don't even try to explain it. They just have it. It's just called Rock Ship. But it's called Masuda Mfude or Mfunu or whatever. There's literally no signs for it.
I'm pretty sure it's sold out, but Michael Collins' Japan tour is hitting both those locations.
If it isn't sold out, you should buy tickets.
Yeah,
Michael Collins is dope.
It's crazy, and it's I do not know how he's going to take people there. Like the parking lot for it has 2 spots for small cars, so it's not something people go to.
Good to know. I'll let him know.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's like good luck in navigating a big tour in that town, by the way. There isn't a restaurant that holds over 5 people. It's very it's great to go on your own, but it's I don't know, it's going to be an interesting. Some of these places are not, they just aren't ready for tourism because like nobody knows about them or cares about them.
Except for us. Woohoo!
That's cool though. Yeah, it's cool that like our people, our community are getting in there now.
There's a lot around this area and stuff too. But you know, I mean, like when I was in India, I went to a place called Mahabalipuram, and it has like this thing called like, I mean, that whole town is like this, just like they have one called like Buddha's Butterball, and it's just some giant thing, and they have like
awesome.
It's very similar to those the Barbar caves where they have like rocks kind of like this that are carved out with rooms inside of them, and like the Indian carvings are crazy. They're just crazy. So anyway, I'm just saying, like, it's not just Egypt and Peru that has these crazy things. Yeah. Like there's way more. So. When
you went to India, did you happen to go to Kailasa Temple? Is that what it's called?
No, I only went to the only cool place I went was Mahabalipuram because I went to Chennai and then I went down to Auroville, which is by Pondicherry. So I spent a month out there, but I have to go back to India because India in itself is like, you could spend months there and not seeing everything. I talked to Praveen Moem and I'm like, next time you do an India tour, like I want to come with you because like I want to see it. But yeah, I have a good friend in Delhi, so I've been meaning to get back to India because I think India is like super important on that. But there's so many places to see. Like I want to do, you know, Cambodia and this.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Have you ever been up to Myanmar?
Good.
Have I been where?
Myanmar.
No, that would be awesome. And Sri Lanka would be cool too.
Indonesia. Yes. Come over and see me in Indonesia next time I'm there.
So Nikkiana Jones, do you actually live in Indonesia?
I took a stab at it earlier this year and had to come back to Canada because of some health issues, but got a lot of exciting plans going on over there.
That's
definitely
awesome.
And then Nong Penong, have you actually been? Have you?
She stayed there for 10 days, so I should let her say it. But tell us.
Yeah, I've been there a number of times now, and I'm like working with the government and a university there to do an energetic study on it that I would love to talk to you about because
that's awesome too. Yeah. And I think Columbus is like what it's like built off of. There's so many around the Olmec culture in Mexico. Yeah. And then I found there's basalt, like when I was up on my way to Mount Nimrut in Turkey, like there was also but Salt Columbus are a whole other rabbit hole to go down. But like I'm very interested in Nong Penong because of that. So that's cool. Like, yeah, we definitely should talk about that later.
You guys should link up and go.
I would love to get a bunch of us in this community together and like go do a group trip over there.
I would like that.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on, not just that pyramid. There's like so much.
I've been hyping Danny's work for a while. Fun insider baseball story. Matt Bell watched a short that I did hyping Danny Hillman's work, and he was like, Ryan, we got to have that guy on here. And they reached out to Danny and had him on shortly afterwards and flew him out and everything.
That Matt Bell episode is what encouraged me to finally like tell him I want to be involved and get over there and get into it. So thank you.
Very cool. And I just wanted to say Danny Hillman Nata Wajaja is like the nicest guy ever. Like he's super nice. I got to spend a decent amount of time with him at Cosmic Summit. Yeah. And super nice guy. He was gracious enough to come on my show when I had like 500 subscribers. So shout out Danny Hillman. And
Danny deserves all the credit. He's rad and doing great work.
He took me under his wing, and I have like no background in any of this previously. So he's just a saint, honestly.
That's the way to get it. That's the way to get the experience.
Yeah.
Can we just say, like, people like Dibble and stuff want to be like, oh, you're disregarding indigenous voices, but then they'll disregard indigenous researchers like Danny.
Exactly.
And it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think Danny knows what he's talking about. Dude lives there, spends all his time there.
Oh,
He
he's a
knows
big
thing or
deal,
two.
actually,
Yeah,
like in the science community as well. Like, big deal. Yeah.
the president in the 90s like curtailed a lot of laws and money towards him, no?
I just
And his
know that
work?
he has a lot of like people listen to him, and there's not a lot of people that could be trying to talk about Atlantis over there that would be getting as far as he is. So I'm really grateful that he's so well respected on so many levels before he gets into that stuff, because it means that he's not just dismissed, which is amazing.
Yeah, and they're finding a bunch of stuff like that, that's like underwater, right? Like off the coast of Indonesia, and with Sunderland, right? That's what it's called, that area.
Yeah. So we are working with the president's brother to fund a Sunderlandia Discovery Project that will basically find all sorts of exploration across Indonesia and eventually across other areas of Southeast Asia as the goal. And we're searching for a lost advanced ancient civilization, essentially. And one of the big discoveries is this sunken harbor that we're working on getting like the most advanced sonar down there to scan and just prove that there was very obviously a harbor there long before anyone wants to talk about there being boats. So
that Filippo guy to do some more of the kind of scanning that they did in the pyramid.
Totally.
Just ping it from space.
Well, I'm trying to like get Michael Donnellan over there to expand his search across the world and see if we can get him in on that.
That would be
well,
really cool.
Michael Donnellan loves Cadiz as the spot, but I think when we're talking about Atlantis, it wasn't. To me, it seems like it obviously wasn't one place. It was a global seafaring civilization. So we're gonna find like examples of this stuff, like underwater, and like we're finding it on land as well, but like literally all over the world, right?
And probably
we definitely have a civilization. Like we have like we were global before they're telling us we were global, and
correct.
We have similar features. So
yeah, I want to rewind a little bit because you said you had multiple UFO experiences, and I ask every single guest, have they ever seen a UFO? Would you mind taking us back? Like, you lived in New Mexico, you've seen some I want to see a UFO, Nikki. I'm jealous.
Hey, come out to New Mexico. I'll show you UFOs. I see them a lot, all the time. I don't know. I mean, like I had little grays come into my room when I was 5. I had a lot of visitations when I was a kid. So like I never had anything bad. Like I wasn't probed or kidnapped that I know of or anything like that. But yeah,
because they bonk you with their forget stick.
Be like, exactly. Look at the pinch.
Yeah.
But let's see. I mean, I don't even remember when my first UFO quote unquote was or wasn't. But I mean, I pretty much see anomalies in the sky at least once or twice a year for my whole life. So they're not even that.
What types? Because there's different. There's orbs. There's black triangles. Yeah.
I've definitely seen the triangles with the circle in the middle or the 3 things at the side. I've seen like the bell shape, like Nazi looking, like traditional saucer. I've seen orbs. I've seen like the circular ones. I've seen like one of the strangest ones I saw was during a blood moon. I was doing some astrophotography and outside of Dallas Fort Worth, and this was, I don't know, way before COVID, so maybe 2015 or something. And my mom and my brother with me, and my mom's like, "What is that? What was it?" And I'm like, "What?" And then like I look up, and it was coming like every, I don't know, like minute or something, but it would look as if someone was putting, how like if you put like a drop of ink in water, how it like has that weird design or does like that quality about it. It was as if someone was dropping an ink of light, like red light, from on the top of the atmosphere. So I wouldn't even call it necessarily UFO. I don't know what you would call that, but it
like
was
a plasma disruption,
like
or
a
something.
plasma thing or something. It wasn't Northern Lights in Texas at that point, but yeah. So like there are also like weird sky anomaly things like that. I've seen a portal. I think I actually have a video. It's a pretty bad video, but I did get a video of, I saw like this portal open in the sky, I guess, like it was a spiral, and then it like opened up and then it just disappeared, and then people were like, well, maybe it's like a rocket that, but I don't know. That was also in Dallas. So that one was in 2021. That was pretty interesting. No, that wasn't 2021. That was 2023.
You're making Dave so jealous right now.
Yeah, no, really.
Just bragging about seeing everything under the sky.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many. I even have like I have one. I did one at those that Stephen Greer thing where you try to call in UFOs, and it works.
Yeah.
It does actually work. So like you
CE5
play crop circles. Like there's this app that you can get. It's called like ET Contact, and you can play the sound that crop circles make, and it's on a loop. And then you basically show it with intention, like where you are. And then that's actually, which is what's weird is that what I called in when I did that was the triangles. So then
I thought it was
government stuff or something. Yeah. So
see, I feel like when you're putting that call out there, you don't really know who's.
Yeah, you don't know what you're calling in or what's. I don't necessarily recommend that, but I did do that. I did that. That was in 2020. I did that.
You bold.
Wait, did you download the app and do it yourself, or did you do? Okay, okay.
So I downloaded the app and I did it myself with one other friend. Like, and we were. I ended up going to Mexico for like. I'm a flight attendant, and I got I got like furloughed during COVID. So like they like gave us like 9 months off with half our pay. So I was like, I'm going to Mexico.
Hell yes.
So I went to
That's
Mexico.
the correct
and
answer.
one of my good friends lives down there. And then like I got an Airbnb that had like a rooftop, whatever. So like, and I was on the beach. And so I just, every night,
screw it, let's try it.
Like, you know what? Let's make this a UFO like week or whatever. Let's do the Stephen Greer thing every night for a week and see what we see. And so we like started recording it and doing it. And yeah, like not every night did something come, but at least we had 3 or 4 sightings.
So I went to Contact in the Desert with Mike last year. And they had a whole like Chris Bledsoe calling some orbs demo or whatever. And like people said they saw shit, but I didn't see nothing. And I think it's me. Maybe they don't like me. I'm not tuned into the right frequency. I don't know what's going on.
I go to a lot of those like sky watches, right? Or I've been to a lot of them. And it's like, oh, look at, it's going to power up. And it's just a satellite. I feel like they're looking at the satellite.
That's what I thought I was seeing. Yeah. And I've seen that a bunch of times. I was a big camper for a long time. I remember I went camping in the middle of this like massive national park in Ontario with my cousin. And it was like one of those dark sky places that takes your breath away. And like, we were super, I'll say, connected to the universe that night, one of those nights. And we were seeing stuff, but they were obviously satellites. But we were like out in the middle of a boat or out in the middle of a lake in a canoe, just like looking up. And I just want to see something so bad.
But the Marfa Lights, you could see stuff there, like every once in a while. So the Marfa Lights are, they have the viewing station. And like you can actually that's a good place to go if people really want like an entryway into like if you go there for a week, like you might see. And I saw like an amazing experience when we're watching the orb. They're like these big globes that are out in this field or whatever, and they don't understand like what they are, why they are there or whatever. And then we saw a shooting star like shoot into and like become one of them. So and then like the whole crowd, like everybody out there was going, "Whoa, my God, what is that?" So those are interesting too.
Yeah, they are. I've been like, so got into UFOs at a young age due to the show In Search Of and stuff like that. And then like I saw the first episode of the X-Files aired like live with my family. And then I watched, when I was in Iraq, I got this like bootleg copy of like all like 10 seasons, or maybe it was 9 at the time. Like drilled down into like a few CDs. I watch it in poor quality, but I watched every single episode of the X-Files over and over again. Even after I got back, and I've always been into this stuff, but like I believe, I want to believe, I got a poster behind me, you guys can't see it, but I have that up there on purpose. I want to believe it's because I do, but I also need to see for myself. And it makes me wonder if there's certain people have a certain you know, consciousness frequency, and I'm getting woo. Yeah, it must be, because like certain psychedelics seem to enhance the experience. Certain people who are very present and very aware and do a lot of meditation can see this stuff. Some people are just born kind of a target too for some reason for some of this stuff. And I really do want to believe. What really gets me though is, and I wanted to ask you about this, Nikki. Through the years, we've been getting exposed to UFO, UAP phenomena through like X-Files and movies, E.T., all that stuff. Like there's this has sort of been this slow drip where they're like kind of putting it into our reality and our consciousness. Then all of a sudden 2017 rolls around, and at that point I don't trust official channels at all in my life, and we start getting this like what I term modern UFO disclosure, where you're getting these whistleblowers, David Fravor, David Grush, Ryan Graves,
government agents.
And then you're having these hearings where they're testifying, and David Grush, like, I think he literally said, I don't remember exact words, but like that we have multiple crafts. Some of them are from ancient archaeological sites. Some of them are new. Yeah. So, but what is your take on modern UFO disclosure? Because I have a hard trust.
We're gonna like, you guys are gonna be like, oh, okay, she's way woo. Like, I don't even believe in outer space anymore. Like, I'm a simulationist, and I think it's like I mean, I've actually seen like green lasers come from outer space hit Florida one time, and then when I was in Taos, I actually saw like the back of the Taos Mountain had like a green laser that went up from the mountain and then went into space. So, and then when I was in Chaco Canyon one time, I saw it was like a star turn into like a pink, it grew to like a pink orb. And then it broke into 5 places, went and almost like drew a flower and went into itself. So I'm kind of going like, it's more than just these, I think people get, bogged down with the materialization or the nuts and bolts of it was going this speed or this, and we were clocking it at this, and it was at this, and rather than being like, okay, no, we are sharing this realm with something else, and or like there's something else going on with this realm,
or a lot of somethings.
I think like I came in with pre-life memories, like I wasn't wiped completely clean when I got here. So I think that might be why I'm a magnet for seeing some of these things. And I don't have life memories as a human. Like I remember being light itself. Like I remember what it feels like to be light as a form of consciousness. And then like I actually remember helping build rocks and stuff like that. Like I have a completely different a worldview and paradigm that I was like incarnated with. So for me, I think we're dealing more with interdimensional. I think that we are in a realm that like I went to, and like, look, I was totally obsessed with space. Like I tried to become an astronaut. I tried to get my astronomy PhD. I like, you know, I've been to every major observatory in the United States. I've been to the one in like Mount Kai or in Hawaii. I've been down to like what's it called, Fort Davidson or Fort McDonald, and like down in Texas. Like I've done the one in Arizona. Like I've been to so many observatories, and like I've gone to, and what happened to me is I went to the Solar Observatory in New Mexico in Cloudcroft, and I like I get downloads and stuff like this, and like I literally think the sun is a hole. I don't think it's what they're telling us, and I think that the light of consciousness comes in through that hole, like, and that's from a download I got from being at the Solar Observatory. So like I'm telling you, I'm like way wooer than like I think you're even.
Okay, well, but so hold on, that's not even that like out there when Elon Musk himself is saying that the sun is sentient.
They're all that stuff is bullshit, that they're going to go to the moon in a couple of weeks and like orbit it. It's like, what, we haven't gone back to the moon in 53 years. Like,
well, NASA just they forgot to build the rocket,
and now we have this, and you've lost the technology.
They recorded over it.
We forgot we put the rocket stuffs.
It's, I mean, the whole
you saved it, right?
So ridiculous at this point.
The you know, one thing I always go back to with that is the look of absolute, I don't even know what to call it, despair, confusion, fear on the faces of the Apollo astronauts when they got back.
Yeah,
and that to me tells me that they got answers to questions that they didn't even know they were asking. And I
think that's the thing.
Yeah, same.
Yep. So there's probably a lot of factors at play. There's probably things out there that are incredibly hostile to us, and we're like toddlers walking into the woods with a stick, and this hungry ass grizzly bear is like picking its teeth, just waiting. And I do think like things like that are going on. Then there's, you know, probably logistical things that have nothing to do with any sort of life form. And then there's probably things that are hard to even perceive in this dimensional context.
Definitely.
Going on beyond all of that. So I think for the people who know, there's probably a lot of actually good reasons why they don't just come out and tell us. Most people wouldn't believe it even if they did. But
well, I feel like wanting to get disclosure from the people who are
full of shit.
It's
never
going to work
out.
The
man's going to tell on himself.
I know, right? But the other thing is that, like, I think really you might have underlining fear if you really look at that. Like if you're alone in the middle of nowhere and you're sky watching and you're really wanting to see something, if you have any kind of fear, it's not going to happen. So you have to kind of really check that within yourself. And then also you have to put very clear boundaries. Like, I don't want to be taken and experimented on. Like, I don't want to
it's a good boundary.
I don't want to be like necessarily leave this realm or not, you know? So for me, it's just kind of like, I would like a hello. Like, I'm off, like my offer is like, I want a hello. Like let's make a contact. Let's have a hello. And it doesn't have to prove to anybody else. It's not like, oh, I want to record this and prove anything to anybody. I don't care if anybody believes me or not. It's more like, I need to know within my own self, like an aspect of what's going on. And so I slowly like set the boundary of what I'm willing to accept. And then I really have to like play with the fear, because it's like, I don't care if like an angel or a demon pops up in front of me. It's like, what we both have in common is that we're here right now in this now moment. So like, you have to not give your power away to anything lesser or greater than you or anything. You just have to be able to stand as your sovereign human and be like, oh, I'm willing to, what's your boundary? What do you want? What do you want? You have to be defining of like, I would like to see a UFO. I would like to experience that. There's other kind of consciousness in this realm. So this is like, and you just do this internally in your head, but you have to like really prepare yourself. And then I promise you, if you really do those steps and you really are like calm, and it's not about the showing of it or proving it to something or something else or whatever, you will get visited.
Well, it's interesting.
Wow.
It's very interesting that you said that. I think that explains why I haven't seen shit.
Dave, me
Because
and you
like,
are in for it, bud.
well, I had, everyone's had childhoods, but I didn't have a great childhood. I'll put it that way. Like I had a mostly happy one, but I don't want to get into details. But then I went to combat as a medic, and then I've been living with like a version of PTSD since then that I manage daily. And you mentioned, having to be like, have an awareness of your internal self and be comfortable with that fear and stuff like that. And I have a hard time doing that, like in this realm. And so it makes me wonder if those are the barriers that are up. Somebody said something interesting. Let me see if I can find it. Something about spinal alignment, which I really totally believe.
I've been getting into that lately.
I have really bad posture due to like years of martial arts and sports playing and military, as well as like just not taking care of my body and going too hard. And but I've recently started within the last 3 months doing Tai Chi every day, and I'm learning to how do I say it? Like articulate my spine in ways that I had forgotten how to, and things like that, and loosening up areas. And when I get into that zone, there's energetic change within me and a calmness within me and more of an awareness within me. So whoever said that about spinal alignment, I think that's definitely part of it. What do you think?
Well, I mean, even in the Stephen Greer thing or whatever, but like anytime that I've consciously called them in, like you do basically get in a meditative state, and like you're outside grounded with your butt on the ground. And like I am like straight spined, and because you are trying to get your chakras in an alignment, and then run energy, right? Like how you show another consciousness where you are is like you have to know where you are. Like, so you have to like get completely in like your whole body, your energetic field is like a toroidal field, right? So like your spinal column is the center point where energy flows through. And then you have to just basically, picture it like a donut where your energy is getting fed from the ground and the sky. And then like, once you feel your body, then you can show some other kind of consciousness where you are to where, and like if you want to see something, it's like you're making a phone call, you have to have a number to call from. So to have a number to call from, you have to be in your body and be able to dial out.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I agree with that.
But I mean, it's like it's not all that it's cracked up to be. It's cool. I mean, I've liked seeing the things I've seen, and like they're good confirmation for me that like there's more to this reality than meets the eye. And that's something that I think I definitely have needed at times in my life. But I think maybe not everybody needs that.
That's true too. That is true too. And like, I think sometimes I think about spiritual awareness or whatever you want to call that, whatever it is that you're tapped into. Humans are a spectrum on when it comes to everything, like how big we are, there's Andre the Giant, and then there's like, little people and things like that. And then there's like, people who suck at basketball, and no matter how hard they train, they'll always be terrible. And then there's like Michael Jordan, and for no reason at all, he's like amazing at basketball, right? So I think, and this is just my assumption, that these abilities exist on a spectrum within the human species,
Yeah, I watched your interview with Dahlia, and you kind of asked her the similar thing, and she's like, no, everybody can do it, and you're like, yeah, but are there Michael Jordans of it? Or, and like, and like I said, yeah, like I came in with like, wide open. So maybe it was easier for me. Right. But, and then also it's kind of one of those things where if you're naturally good at something, you're not usually as good of a teacher as you are if you had to learn it, That's true too. Put effort into it. So, I mean, it could just be that, but I do think everybody has the ability to connect to something in themselves and outside of themselves if they want to. It's just a matter of like, I mean, I think a lot of people think they want it, but then when it's almost going to happen, they you know, like they'll get up to the edge of the diving board and then they're like, no, I'm going back down. I'm going back. I don't want to do it. You know, so you gotta.
I think that's me. I think I do that like almost like automatically. It's like that fear-based response, and then I redirect. You know what I mean? And it's almost a subconscious process. So
I would say with you, then I would look into running through worst case scenarios. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, I guess you could get abducted. Okay, so then
but I kind of want that.
You know, like the worst case scenario is that they don't exist at all. The worst case scenario is I don't know, like just play with the fear in your head, work it out to the degree to where you're like, okay,
reframe it.
Yeah, reframe it to help yourself be like, okay, I actually, you know what, I'm ready to like let go of the trauma for this. And then for right now, it's just me right now, here, right now, saying hello to the universe. Like I just want a signal of universal hello.
I like that. Part of me thinks that, well, I wanted to ask you about this anyway, but sometimes, like I microdose shrooms a lot, just because it makes me feel good. And it actually really helps with my body awareness, and it really enhances Tai Chi and acupuncture for me and stuff like that. But I've always been afraid to go over the cliff with that. As you mentioned, take the hero dose. How do you feel about the role of like, you know, natural psychedelics as far as like bringing us to these spaces or realms, as you said?
Did you know about my heroic dose?
No, I haven't heard. If you wouldn't mind telling.
So I was like 35, and so I'm 43 now. I was 35, and
I'm 43 too, same age.
Oh, nice, 1982. Anyway, so I go to the redwood forest with my friends, and they're like, "Hey, I get there mushrooms. It's gonna just be like a color. It's just like you'll take it, and it'll be like it'll just be colorful and be really pretty. It'll be nice." And I was like, "All right, it is from nature. Okay, fine, I'll go do it." Right. So I'm in a group of like 8 or 9 people, and I'm the last one. Like they gave us a bag of mushrooms, and then they were passing around like spoonfuls of peanut butter. And I just open the bag and I start eating the mushrooms, and I'm like, they're not that bad. I can eat them. So like I eat the whole bag. So I ate like 15 to 20
my God.
But I didn't know that was, first of all, I didn't know shit about mushrooms, and I didn't know that was
that's the best way to do it.
They gave it to me. They made the peanut butter, and they're like, "Wait, where's your mushrooms?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even need the peanut butter. Like, I just ate them all. Like, they don't taste that bad." And they're like, "No, Nikki, that was for the week. That was for all week. That's your mushrooms for the entire week we're here." And then I was like, "Wait, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, you should have only one would have been good. Like, you didn't like how what?" And then they all sit around talking. Oh my God, like, should we go to the ambulance? Can we try and make her throw up? Like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You know, like they were all kind of scared. They didn't know what to do. And then I was like freaking out, going like, "Wait, what?" And then the one guy who was the sitter was like, "All right, well, enjoy the ride, Nikki. It's gonna be a ride." So I had a hero's dose.
That's like hero's dose times 5. They say a hero dose is like 3.5 and up.
Oh yeah, like I mean, like it was definitely.
Wow.
At first, the forest came alive, and then like I saw fairies and elves and nymphs and all this stuff doing everything. And then the fairies like were telling me to like they were like pulling on my shirt, and they were like, go back to the tent, right? So I go back to the tent, and it was really, and then I left my body and I went past the moon, and then everything digitized. And then I was in this ineffable place for thousands of years. And I was there way longer than I've ever been alive here. That's
terrifying to me.
I had no idea I was a human. I had no idea I was Nikki. I had no idea I was a girl. I had no idea I had no idea. I completely, when I say ego death, it's not like, no, I didn't even know I was a human. So it took me probably like a week to integrate back in to where I was normal again. So yeah.
Did that like what did you end up integrating out of that experience into your life?
well, one of because I didn't want to come back, so it took them a long time to get me back in my body. So it was weird because there was this golden light of other consciousnesses that I shared, like some kind of situation with. I'm not sure if they were versions of me in different now moments or past or future, or they were my soul family. I'm not really sure what they were, but there was like this golden hula hoop of light, and that was like kept on trying to tell me like, you know, it's not, you're not ready to go back to it all. You have to go back and, you know, and I'm like, why? It's all fake. Like, why? You know, and it was just like, well, is your mother fake? Is your this? And I didn't even know who they're talking about and everything. So then finally they kind of, I was like, well, I would start having memories of like, oh, my mother. Yeah, no, my mother's not fake. And then they'd be like, okay, so how about we give you a gift? We'll give you a gift to come back. And I was like, well, what gift? You know, and then they're like, we'll let you hear energy. And I was like, that's a lame superpower. I'm not coming back for that. But yeah, so basically I was able to, now I can hear people's energy, like, versus, and what that does is like I can hear when somebody else is in my energy field versus me. Or if I'm like listening to your body, I can tell where something's off in your body, like where you're everybody has a sound, like your cells when they divide, it's still, your voice is unique, like your sound is unique to your own electricity in your body. It has a noise, and it's not always even, and it's not always the same throughout your body. So like I guess I can kind of like hear that. I don't know what else to really do with that, but and it took me a long time. Like I think I was kind of secretly an atheist before that. Like or how about this? I had doubts on whether anything was real or not. I was like, I just didn't know whether if it was or not. Like I always sort of had that fear because like I got my wisdom teeth out when I was in my late 20s, and it was just like black, and then I woke up and I had no passage of time, and then that gave me such a fear that it was like, oh, when we die we just turn off like a computer and it's just like that, like nothing, you know, consciousness ends right there. And so like I had like a huge fear of that, and then this completely took that away completely and forever. Like now it's just like I definitely had I'm not religious, and I don't believe in any of the dogma of anything really, but I do think that our consciousness continues, has been before and will be after this, or, you know, so like that was like probably, or that was a really good gift that I got from that, and that I integrated in, that I really appreciated.
I'm going to take your word for that, because that makes me feel better too. Because I have those questions all the time. You said something earlier that really, you said something earlier that I want to see if you can try to explain to us with like sounds you make with your mouth and human words. But what does it feel like to be light in the form of consciousness? Can you even explain that using human words?
About that is like vision is really limiting and interesting. So when you're light, I could see everything I could shine on. So like my vision was beyond 360. It was like everything that my light hit was part of my vision field.
Wow.
So it was so whenever I would create, like when I was like creating rocks and stuff, like it was an effort to bring things into a point of focus. Like what we have right now, where we're looking through one or through a set of eyes and having one single point of focus, is such a beautiful gift. Like we don't even understand how wonderful that is, because it's not always like that when you're out of this consciousness. And so like there you can come into density and create when you come into a point of focus, and that's what we're in now. So like when I was light, I was everywhere. It was lovely. It was like weightless and love and wonderful, but there was like a lot more limitations on well, there are different kinds of limitations, I guess, but it was an effort. I remember I like would have to swirl and then try to basically close my consciousness, and I would have to like work very hard, because I didn't actually have a body, but I'd have to work really hard to get a single point of focus to like laser in on something.
That's wild, but I can almost visualize that. That was really interesting. It's like, being light yourself. If you're seeing through your own light, then it would be like in a 360-degree perception. But that would be really hard for like a human brain to comprehend, I feel like. What space were you in then? Like was that the mushroom trip or was
that's a pre-life memory that I always had before I was born. Like I remember that always kind of thing. And so then even when I was little, I was kind of always wondering, like when do I go back to being more than this? And then, like when you're in your dream state, you have vision, you can fly, you can see and hear things, but you don't have touch and you don't have feeling. Like when you're in your dream, if you try to like touch your hand or your anything, it doesn't feel the same kind of quality. So I've always been like really obsessed with I'm always touching my fingers. I'm always really obsessed with touch because I know that's like one of the interesting conditions of this incarnation is our ability to feel. So I've always been conscious of that because that's something you'll miss about this when you're gone.
Yeah, it's true. It'd probably be like the first thing you noticed that you missed. Yeah. So you had this life you just explained to us, and then 7 years ago you're like, F it, I'm gonna start a podcast, or how did that go?
Oh yeah. Like I was wanting to start one for a long, long time, but then finally I had another friend who Danielle, we started a podcast together. And then after about a year, and it was just kind of us talking to each other about like woo-woo shit. And then after about a year, she got to where she has a kid and stuff, and she didn't have time for it anymore. So
that's the best.
She was like, rename it and just take it and do it your own self and do your thing. And then, so I've never liked being just a talking head where I just will talk to myself. So like, I always wanted to, so I just interviewed people and I decided, I don't make any money off of Nikkiana Jones. I think, I make like $7 a month on YouTube if I'm lucky. Right. So it's like, it's just a love, a passion. And I kind of just do it for when I want to know about a subject that I need a little bit more detail on, like I have somebody on, and it's really good to talk with like-minded people, and the connections you make are really worth it. So don't quit because the connections are cool.
Yeah, well, I had a similar experience. Like I had a team that we were doing it for a little over a year and a half, and yeah, and Michael Collins described a similar thing at his beginning where eventually had to go their separate ways with their original partners on it and stuff like that because life happens, like there's no hard feelings or anything.
My friend Danielle, like we're still good friends, but it's just, this just wasn't her. She didn't like doing it that much.
Yeah, same thing with Mike, and then Brittany got super busy, and I was like, do I really want to keep doing this because of how much work it is? And then I had sort of out of the ether come Alexander Cheshkovich, get his book, hit the captions. Megan offered to be my editor, and then Megan came out of the ether as well, going, "Hey, can I help you?" And I'm very helpful. And I was like, "Oh, great, good," because that's what I need. And so, yeah, I'm not going to stop doing it. In fact, I think we're just about to start rocking and rolling. I got some epic guests lined up and stuff. But you and I, like I said, we cover similar topics, ancient history, and then we get Lost Ancient Civ. They also get into consciousness, UFOs, UAPs, esoteric stuff. Is there like a favorite topic that like you always like to go to? It seems like the Lost Ancient Civ.
Nebulous are mine. They're just like, they really are a true mystery in flesh and blood that's like physical, that like, you can't deny like nubs or something. You can't deny polygonal stones. You can't deny like the colossalness of these things. So I feel like, and I just don't understand why more girls aren't into it. It's just like such a weird dude thing. And I'm like, why? So like, I would love for more women to get involved.
Let's start a club. Let's start a club.
I know, right? I'm like,
I'm so down.
But yeah, I try to get all my girlfriends into it, and I like will geek out in front of them, and they're like,
I feel you.
Well, speaking of gals that are diving into this space, I wanted to shout out Sarah and Jacqueline from the Universe Unveiled podcast.
They're really cool.
They're really cool. I've known Jacqueline since I was 10 or something like that. She's one of my best. Yeah, she's one of my best friends. That's how like I connected her to the Institute, because I knew that she had like, you know, skills that would be useful. And then they just kind of took off there. They had Ed Barnhart on, which was pretty sweet recently. And those are a couple ladies who are doing what you said. You know, they're jumping into this space and they chose the name Universe Unveiled because of feminine sort of thing there. And I think they're doing a really good job. So I just wanted to shout them out.
Yeah, I love their channel. And I thought they were really cool to talk to as well. So I like that all of you guys are coming on now, because I feel like I was alone as the interviewer in this space for so long, because I've had my channel for like 7 years, but I can't get to everybody because I'm too lazy. And like I also just like, you know, I mean, I put one out a month if I'm lucky. So I think I'm like, please, other people take the reign, get this stuff out there, make it awesome. There's so much for it to go around for everybody, and it's really there are real mysteries. Like you don't have, and that's the thing is like with AI and everything, people are going to get to where they don't believe anything. So there are real things that you can physically go to in person that are real, that are mysterious and wonderful, and make you go like, wait, what's going on? And that's great that exists.
Is there any topics that you haven't dug into too much, or that you want to like start doing, or are you more just like whatever's interesting?
I'm going to be visiting the Boogosphere, so I'm kind of interested in that. Have you heard of that one?
No. What is the Boogosphere?
So like in March, it was this orb that was like a silver orb drone kind of thing that was found in Colombia, Buga, Colombia. So it's called the Boogosphere. And when they found it, it weighed 3 pounds, or sorry, no, 3 kilograms, and now it weighs like 10.13 kilograms. So it's gained 15 pounds in 10 months. And it's like got like a natural temperature regulator on it. Like they've captured this orb. They moved it to Mexico now, and it was in Buga, Colombia. And so it's kind of like a captured UFO that's like, it's like one of the cooler stories in the UFO field. And I'm actually going to go see it in person. So I don't know. That's one of those things that I'm super,
that's pretty wild.
I don't know. It could be like some crazy hoax, but right now I'm interested in it. And I think it's really interesting. And it also has like, when they think there's plasma inside of it. There's no welding that went on. It was like a cold fusion thing. And it has like some fiber optics that they think might be fiber optics in some of the holes. And it's got like these engravings on the top. And what's really interesting is when they've done like X-ray or what have they done? They've done X-ray, and they've done like any kind of like radar scanning or like MRI on it. The top has a natural camouflaging, the engravings on the top, that it just blurs out on any radaring. So I think that's pretty interesting. And it flew around for about 4 hours before it was captured, and there's tons of videos online. And they kept it in the city hall in the Buga area for a couple of months, and then it just got too much for the town, and they decided to send it to like some UFO researchers in Mexico. So it's really interesting.
Wow, I had not heard of this at all.
That's wild.
Yeah,
had you heard of that, Cody? Cody's on a delay.
No, I definitely am like,
this is the first I've heard of it.
Been following this.
Oh, you have it following it? Yeah, it's there's some really good. If you look at the scientists that have been working on it and the engineers and stuff, they have some interesting compilation
it's wild.
Research about it. So it's interesting. So I'm down the rabbit hole with that.
Very cool. So I think we'll wrap up with a question for everyone. Just a fun question for everyone. And because Megan and I actually have an interview here in about 20 minutes with, I can't say it, but it's exciting. So I'll wrap this up with this question. If you could, and then I'll start with Cody since he's on a delay. If you could jump through a portal to any place in space or time, where would you go and why? Give Cody a second to Cody.
Oh man, you know, I am absolutely obsessed with the ancient Maya, so I would probably jump back to see right at the beginning of what we acknowledge is their like pre-classic period. What was going on that they just show up with so much culture and knowledge and just understanding of the cosmos and a mythology, a entirely huge area, a diverse people, a number of actual tribes making up them on so many concepts. To see what happened there and how, I would love that time.
Very cool. Megan, same question. Megan?
Sorry.
No worries.
If that kicks in. But also, I was recently at El Mirador in Guatemala. So the mine stuff, would I ever love to dive back there? But based on the work I'm doing, I would probably want to go back like 20,000 years ago to Indonesia. I think the question was like, where would you go in time? I missed it.
Space and time.
Yeah. I think I want to see like that first cultural layer of Gunung Padang and like what was going on then. And there's just so many fascinating ruins there to be explored. So yeah, so pre-Ice Age Indonesia or like pre-flood, sorry.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Nikkiana Jones, you've been, sounds like, all across space and time. Is there anywhere you haven't been that you want to go?
I actually would. Oddly enough, as obsessed as I am about the past, and I would love to go to any of those places. Probably if I had to go to the past, I would try Peru, and I would do Peru a couple thousand years ago. But I would be in the future. I would try to go like 10,000, 5 to 10,000 years from now, and see if we even still exist or what's going on. Or that would be really interesting to me to see like do we make it?
I think that would be very interesting as well. For me, I'm thinking about, because we're talking about across space and time, and our human perception of what that is very limited. And I want to see some of the shit Nikki's seen. I want to be a beam of light in consciousness, because I think that would be probably an experience of ultimate joy and interconnectedness with the universe. And man, that sounds really nice, I think. What do you guys think? Nikki, where can everyone find you?
Sounds pretty rad.
It does sound pretty rad. Okay, I'm Nikkiana Jones on YouTube, and then any place that there's podcasts, if you put Nikkiana Jones, will come up with that. And then I'm on Instagram, but I'm mainly a lurker there. But you can still find me. Every once in a while I post something there. But mainly if I post, I'll post on X. And I'm actually living Extorta 1, but just put Nikkiana Jones and it'll come up. So it's all one word, NIKKIANA. It's a play on Indiana Jones. And then there you go. That's you can pretty much find me on those kinds of places. I'm not on TikTok or Facebook. So yeah.
Okay. Cody, where can everyone find you, my friend? Waiting on Cody's delay.
You can find me pretty much everywhere. Easton Outpost. That's it. It's that simple. Look for me primarily on YouTube, on X. That's where I'm most active, but it's just @10 Outpost. Find you there.
Nice. And you can find Megan and I at Dave's Multiverse on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Rumble, Twitch, TikTok. I haven't paid any attention to those two in months, but we're on there somewhere. Megan and I are going to be dropping 1 or 2 interviews a week. Going to try to do a live stream-ish a week as well. We've got a new series coming up called Mars Disclosure Live with Jean Ward, Ricardo Calvario, Brian Corey Dobbs, and my friend Jason, the Shaman Huffman. And we're going to be using what John uses in finding strange objects on Mars that seem out of place, and they're finding all kinds of weird stuff that people just don't talk about. You know, we talk about how they don't explain adequately explain stuff here on Earth. Well, there's some weird shaped structures on Mars that I don't think anyone can adequately explain. And so, yeah, man, this has been fun. Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Megan. Nikkiana Jones, thank you so much for joining the Multiverse. Anything you want to say to the audience before we go?
Stay curious. I don't know.
Yeah, love it. And hopefully this is the first of
That's right.
more visits into the Multiverse.
Sounds good.